Okay, we see the movement. We see the movement.
No,
Maybe like, hey, 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 hey. I thought he was about a hair flip in the middle. Imagine just like.
Alright. We are back. Again.
Let's go.
This episode, yo, we about to. Oh!
Rated spicy.
Rated spicy.
Rated spicy.
Honestly, once again, I love how we did the last episode was critiquing because this is.
Our follow-up episode.
We don't even pick these topics. Jimmy and I and Diamond don't have any idea how topics are started. We don't even have an order. It happens to us. Literally, we have guests pick a topic. We pick from that topic, and the guest who picked first has a priority to be an episode, and that's how the hierarchy of the sequential order goes.
Yep.
And it just flows.
Facts. We had Jose.
Every time.
He's like, yo, I want to talk about critiques. And then the beautiful Halima was like, yo. Matter of fact, before I even tell the topic, give y'all a topic.
Who's
I'm
Halima?
not even going to put it in the title. You not know what we're talking about until I say we're talking about it. Period. But, Halima, please introduce yourself.
Hey, yo, my name is Halima. Some people may know me as Sadi. I go to City College. I'm a junior, and I'm also a makeup artist, a photographer, an influencer, as well as I also have an upcoming clothing brand.
Hello. She is. Listen, we love to see it. I just love when black women are on this. I love being in the presence of black women. Black men, too. I do.
Once again, from last episode, you don't have to clarify.
Yeah, we're not gonna assume you hate us.
I never know with you guys, okay? They always assume.
Whoa. Diamond? No,
No.
that is a hard. That is.
No.
Can we please rectify that for our audience who loves to jump into conclusions? So please rectify that, please.
Wait, who likes assumptions and conclusions? I like.
Diamond, seriously, like
I like
that's
jumping
scary.
rope.
Like they like people will use that against us. We don't. Please clarify that as a joke, please.
It's always a joke.
Okay, thank you,
yes,
because
but they do
I'm
it very
scared.
often, jokingly.
Especially after today's episode. I don't want anyone in the comments saying that Jimmy and Richard are.
This is why we have disclaimers.
Indeed.
So let's
Indeed.
disclaim.
But thank you, Halima, for pulling up to the show.
Word.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm really excited that you picked this topic. None of us did. Jimmy,
Word.
can you please introduce what we'll be talking about today?
See, there's one issue with that. You said they're not gonna know unless you say it. So do you have to?
I'm
say
sorry,
It?
they're not gonna know until we say it.
Okay. So I'm all for like rules and regulations.
Are we
when
going to
say it.
introduce ourselves? No?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so used to like y'all knowing who we are. I'm Richard.
Hi,
As
Richard.
they said my name, and as you've known, this is the 6th episode.
I thought you were rich.
It
Richard.
changes every time.
I know, right?
This is crazy.
It's happening next week.
Right. I'm Diamond.
I'm Jay.
Hi, y'all. I'm James. Welcome to the show. Y'all know the vibes. We about to get to it, right? Right? About to get into the meat and potatoes, right?
I'm a little nervous. I'm a little nervous.
What?
Why are you nervous?
Why
I'm
is
just
he looking
nervous.
so intense?
I don't know.
I'm sorry.
It's you, bro. You gotta share the topic.
I was just making sure we ready. Making sure we ready.
Are you whelmed?
Am I high?
Are you whelmed?
Am I whelmed?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm averagely whelmed. Not overwhelmed, not otherwhelmed, just
Do you get it? Whelmed? Is that
Yeah.
a reference?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I have tears in my eyes.
Because this is pretty Aster.
pretty wide.
Aster. If you watch Young Justice, you will see that. Man, oh man.
Look, man, I didn't know you were going for a part 2. That's my bad. That's on me. Yeah. Today's topic. What do you bring to the table?
I was thinking that sound in my head. In my head, I literally went. Okay, continue.
Well, this is the table, and we brought Halima and a conversation. All right, we're done. See you next week.
Oh, we also brought tablecloth.
Like,
That's more brownie points.
Shit.
We're good.
You know, last episode I tried to high five Jose. He left me.
Dang, Jose, wherever you are, just know that you left her hanging.
He made up for it, but it was too late. Continue.
Interesting.
All right. Well, let's talk about it. Honestly, to stay on topic, we got guidelines for this episode. Jimmy, please do the honors. Let's.
Oh, we refreshing our guidelines?
Wait, did we do the disclaimers though?
What you got to say?
Like,
It's already too much for me.
like what type of? Never mind.
No, say it. No.
No, I was gonna say, just keep in mind, again, some of y'all will be triggered. 1, 2, there will be different perspectives coming in. So, like, female perspective, male perspectives, religious perspectives, or, secular perspective, regular. So, yeah, I don't think there's anything else, but yeah.
I personally want to clarify, I want to absolve, from my perspective, from my, I guess, analysis of said topic, I think it's specifically based on initiator and recipient as opposed to male and female. That's
I like that.
But before I dive into that, please, can you go more and why pick a topic and what you want to talk about?
All right, so one thing I've noticed, especially, throughout this pandemic and, even now to this day, I've noticed that a lot of people in different podcasts, YouTubes, everything, there's always this topic of what would a woman bring to the table, or what would you bring to the table? And especially remember the era of Clubhouse, when everybody was in Clubhouse, stuck at home, quarantining in Clubhouse. All you hear is, so as a woman, what do you value from me if you're not gonna provide for me? What are you gonna bring to the table? So I think that's a good topic to talk about, because what is the table? What are you talking about? What does the table represent? And also as well as I just want to know y'all views on that as well. So.
Well, the beautiful thing about this podcast, is that there's no bigoted men here. So I don't know what they're talking about.
Great.
Respectfully. However, what I assume is the merit of that topic.
Yeah.
Right? Now I'm gonna switch audience between what I assume and how I perceive things and how I believe. Please, what I'm about to say, don't attribute that to me. Please don't. What I assume is that being that is pop culture and men are asking these questions on the platform that I've seen, to women, is that what they're saying is that if I can provide the materialistic, clear identifiable, distinct things that is tangible and corporeal, what value do you bring to me in terms of, if I can provide for both of us, what do you bring for me? If I have to initiate and take you out on dates and shoot my shot for you, and you're not shooting a shot at me, how can I ensure that I'm getting energy that I'm putting out, the money, time, resources reciprocated? That's just from what I see. That's what I'm assuming. What I'm assuming, not my perspective.
Honestly, I've grown to love this conversation. I do still dislike the question. I'm gonna be very honest about that. Only because when you think of it, especially the fact that women hear it so much, it's okay, I understand, yes, you are the provider, the caretaker in the relationship, we've learned growing up. Obviously, things have changed, and at the same time, like you mentioned, if I'm the one shooting my shot, if I'm the one initiating the dates, it's okay, well, what are you bringing? It's I do understand that side, but at the same time, in the back of my head, it's okay, well, what qualities did you see in me before you decided to speak to me? Obviously, if you knew that you were going to do these things, what provoked you to do that for me? Clearly, if you have an interest.
Assets.
Understood, right? But obviously, if that's all it is, in this society, as I say this.
But can I say something? And that's all it is. That's all they know. So it's like,
Right.
if I can only see your assets, I'm asking, what do you bring? Not me. Once again, not me. I do not approve of this question. I
Right.
personally do not go that route. But I want to share the route that I do go at the end. I feel like that is the most appropriate route. But I'm not going to disclose how I ask questions, but that's not, once again, I don't agree. But back to the topic. I feel like I did disclaim everything because I'm so scared
Just
of
so
me.
you're
Of,
playing
of,
devil's advocate. Just so
okay.
you're playing devil's
Right.
I might be
advocate.
devil's advocate because this podcast is about understanding each side. So it's
Yeah.
like I don't want to use devil's advocate because of the connotation of being a devil. I just want to say, I'm trying to compensate for the people who aren't here because we should have spaces where everyone has a seat at the table.
Right.
No pun intended.
No pun intended. That was pretty good. But yeah. So it's like Biggie said, "What else you see in me?" They don't know, which is why they ask the question, "What are you bringing?"
Which is
Because-
understandable. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, that's also understandable, right? I'm not gonna make this like personal or anything like that. But at the same time, it's like in this society, a lot of women use their assets, to then bring in, I don't want to call them subjects, but to bring in, that attraction from who they want to attract. So it's like if that's all you saw, right? And that's what attracted you, and you hear me, it's like, are you then upset? Do you then stop talking to them? But as far as how I also respond to the question, because I'm not one of those women. But when I hear the question, my initial response is, well, what do you want? And the reason why is because you don't walk into a restaurant and sit at the table and be like, what do you have to offer me? Like, you came to the restaurant, you were, wait.
You do.
No, you don't, because obviously you did the due diligence before you went to the restaurant, which is why you chose that restaurant. And
But-
then when you're wait, 1 second, because when you then look at the menu, you choose what you want from the menu, and then they bring it to you. Now, while I'm relating this back, give me 1 second. I'm making a full circle. If you approach me, meaning you were initially attracted to me, right? And you ask me, what do I bring to the table? I am going to ask you, well, what are you looking for? What do you want? And the reason why is because if, let's say, for example, if you only want like a friends with benefits, right? I'm not gonna give you girlfriend, I'm not gonna give you wife. If you want a girlfriend, I'm not gonna give you,
Wife.
I'm not gonna give you wife right off the back. If you want something platonic, I'm not gonna do the sexual things, I'm not gonna do the girlfriend things, I'm gonna give you what you want if I equally want those things with you, depending on what you said. So just like, that's really what it looks like for me.
Personally, I love saying anything that Jimmy's gonna say. So I'm gonna say,
You know what I'm gonna say.
when you order at a restaurant, you know what's on the menu. So it's like you then know what you want, right? Because it's more complex in a relationship because, for example, it's like, I've asked you what food do you want. You're not gonna know until you're presented with options. If I don't know a woman, I just want to provide context. This question, right or wrong, from what I've seen, is asked within the first few dates of meeting someone. So you don't know who they are. So as much as I can talk about, I'm gonna sit at a restaurant, but no one comes with pamphlets and menus of their characteristics. So I could be like, yo, she's fire, but damn, who is she? I'm like, yo, what is she?
And that's the thing, because at the end of the day, when you go to a restaurant, you don't ask them what food they have because they give you the menu. And so the difference between that and and the people's is like, yeah, sure, like obviously, like, no, we even, like, let's say we have technology, but let's say before that where we could just kind of Google and be like, oh, what's on the menu. hey, we just gotta try the restaurant out. If the decor on the outside looks good, we just, hey man, I'm gonna take the risk. We enter the restaurant. Now, let's say they have no menus, because humans don't have menus visible in terms of what's on the inside and what's in that. No, it's kind of like what's in that kitchen. Mm-hmm. I would have to ask him, what's today's special? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna have to ask that. And especially when let's say I value my time, I'm not gonna try to wait to, well, not me, but for those who ask the question, because I don't even ask the question, but like, if someone's gonna like value their time.
I want them to hear it. Jimmy,
yeah.
Do you ask this question?
I do not ask this question.
Do you abide by the question?
Define abide.
Do you subscribe to the question being asked in society?
Depending on the individual who's willing to receive it. For example, like if someone were to ask something, I don't really find it to be like problematic. But I do understand that there are people who may find it problematic, and so obviously. Oh yeah, my bad.
Slow down.
I understand that there may be people who find it problematic, and so just for keeping the peace and all that good stuff, I'm gonna avoid it, and I'm just trying to understand them in another way. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so if they're not giving me the menu, right, which humans just don't do, and I'm just pulling up based on what I see on the outside, I'm gonna have to make an inquiry, or else I just won't get food, and I'm hungry. So. And I think one of the things that's like sparked this question is mostly just like how do I say it? A kind of like an observation, and like see how certain expectations have changed, right? For example, like kind of how people talk about traditional gender roles and stuff like that, and they'd be like, yeah, let's say man is supposed to provide financially, provide security and stuff like that. To the point that it's basically considered, bare minimum, and that's just what they should do. Pretty much no debate about it. And so, but also, we've also, I guess popularized basically saying like, the woman doesn't have to cook. She doesn't have to clean. She doesn't, have to, let's say, like have sex with them whenever they want. So then the question would be, all right, so sure. This is now the bare minimum that I should be doing. But you don't really have a bare minimum, there's no floor, so what you got for me? You know what I'm saying? Like that's, once again, not even a justification, but I feel like that's where it basically comes from, because it's saying, all right, since everybody can at least understand what's expected of me, and thus I'm almost automatically trying to achieve it in some way because, well, I want you or whoever else, what am I getting?
And not only that, even in terms of what is expected of you, the climate that you're in, right? When I mean climate, I mean in terms of like the socio kind of climate that you're in terms of the social climate you're in terms of approaching that person, right? If I want this person, I'm going to initiate, and I'm going to set myself different upon others, and I have to set it. And I had to make a distinction off rip. I have to immediately show I'm different than all. For example, like I'm heterosexual. I date women, so it's like I like women, black women only. Sorry, psych. I'm not sorry. You thought this was. But yeah, so it's like. When it comes to like, I'm like, yo, I gotta stand out from other men. So it's like I have to show off rip. I'm not like these other men. That comment, oh, he's different. Nah, respectfully, there's merit to it. I'm different because X, Y, and Z. So it's like that is already shown because it has to be shown to show some appeal because you're initiating. That person is in a state of wait more often than not when you're initiating, the person is receiving. So it's like. I'm going to automatically be like, I'm going to assume competitors before I meet them. I'm not going to meet the men she's talking to.
Especially because if you think she's attractive, I'm
going to assume somebody else thinks she's attractive. Yeah. No one's like, yo, she's fired, but she's talking to no one. You think she's fired, 9 out of 10, someone thinks she's fired as well. Exactly. So it's like, in terms of initiation, you're going to automatically be like, okay, boom. I have to set myself apart from other people. So I'm going to show my worth off rip. But now let's say I have some sort of interest. Let's say she's like, oh yeah, we're going on a date. Actually, she's going on second date. Actually, she's going on third date. I'm like, okay, she's clearly interested. I don't know who's not interested in going on third dates, respectfully. If you are, stop being manipulative.
I was just about to say, it depends how much free food they can get from you.
And wasting that person's time.
Right.
right? If you're a recipient and you follow traditional values or not, don't waste a person's time.
That's right.
But back to the topic at hand, right? I think it's fair to say, what value do you give me if I'm explicitly showing this value? However,
It's the hands on the table.
once again,
The posture. You just know.
We both was like,
once again, it's not me. It's not me.
hold on.
Oh, sorry.
Nah, let it.
I definitely,
talk.
I wanna pass it to her, but I really don't want to lose this thought because
go ahead.
I definitely want to piggyback off of what James said. I also think that if you already see yourself as being the initiator, the provider, so on and so forth, you should also, like, if you're attracted to that person, you should also be geared to getting to know them. And I feel like that answers that question so that you don't have to ask it. Now, if the woman that you're attracted to is then not opening up to you and telling you these things as you're getting to know her, then are you getting to know her? Because it's like, yes, you can go on these dates and the whole time you're like, she looks so good. And you're not even hearing her and she's telling you about herself. And then when we get to the third day, you're like, oh, so what do you bring to the table? And it's like, that's a big turnoff because that means you weren't listening to anything that I said. If you're getting to know somebody, you're getting to know what they do. If not on a day-to-day, at least you know whether they have a business, whether they're in school, whether, you know, what kind of job they work, their ambitions towards life. The way, if you're paying attention and actually observing the person that you're with, then you're understanding their actions on a day-to-day. How does she carry herself? How does she handle herself just being by herself, not even with a partner, not even with a man? She'll actually show you and tell you how she'll treat you, how she'll go about the situation, everything she wants. But what I really feel like is that men just, honestly, I'm not going to say all of them. There are some men who just don't listen when women are speaking, especially when they have something to say. And I feel like I'm a victim of that in certain circumstances. And that's the reason why I don't like that question, because I know that I'm somebody, I'm not going to say this is all women either, but I know I'm somebody who's going to tell you about myself. Because if you're interested, and I'm also interested in you, and you're telling me about myself, and we're, you know, sharing conversation, that's how you build that mutual interest to where you don't have to ask that question, you know? And it's like, I understand if you do ask it, if you want to know, but ask yourself first, was I actually listening when she was talking to me? Am I listening when she's talking to me right now? Or am I thinking of the next thing to say? Am I thinking of how to impress her? Because that's what they're so focused on. Okay, yes, you can provide. I can also provide for myself. What does that say? If it's really a thing, I can provide for you too if you were listening to me, if you understand and if you know that. So it's not a bad thing to ask the question, but it's like you were talking about back in the day when it comes to like the example with the restaurant. Back in the day, you just walk into somewhere and you have to see what they offer.
You ask immediately, what do you bring me to the table? Like,
right. Now, we were more so talking about in today's spectrum. That term I don't even feel like that was necessarily a question back in the day, because men and women had their roles. The man was the provider, the woman was the caretaker. The home, she took care of the home and everything. You didn't have to ask that question. You know exactly what's coming towards you.
Yeah, well,
today,
to be fair, the difference, I do want to clarify this, especially with history. It was asked in terms of, because the thing about it now is that, like Jimmy said, that the stark difference with the bare minimum, right? The bare minimum was stated, so that the question wasn't needed because the bare minimum was stated. Women were told to do X, Y, and Z. Men were told to do X, Y, and Z. Going now into today's society, men are still told to do X, Y, and Z, but women aren't told to do X, Y, and Z. Now,
or at least at the same rate.
Let me phrase
Depending
this.
where you're
At
from.
the same rate.
Right.
Yeah.
Because specifically, in terms of like modern culture,
especially Western, yeah.
Western philosophies,
yeah.
specifically, I do want to clarify that. Please do not pass.
Cut,
Do not hold me to a stake. Okay, I'm wrong. Please, this is, man. Right? Specifically within Western philosophies, it's that women have the means to do it for themselves. So now it's like, okay, well now what value is there in a woman? And should we even put a bare minimum on a woman? But that's not on the topic.
Yeah, I feel like that
that's
just
a whole nother topic.
it really goes back to getting it goes back to getting to know the person. Once you know, if you feel like you haven't gotten to know the person truly
You ask the question.
on both parties, then yes,
Ask the question.
you can ask the
Then
question.
you can ask the
But
question.
if not, and you just weren't listening, don't, because that's gonna 9 times out of 10 that's gonna piss a woman off more, and she's not even gonna want to continue conversation.
That's facts.
But I do want to pass it to
But
you.
before you, did you have
so
something to
sorry,
say?
Lima.
'Cause
Yeah.
I don't respond to that. I thought Jamie was saying the same thing, but
I just want to go. I'll let her go first, and we can go.
I
I was just gonna say, like, in terms of that question, like she said, I feel like over time, especially going on dates or in my case, courting, you have to at least ask questions. Know what you're getting yourself into. Of course, like the first thing you see is attractiveness. Like you are attracted to a person, like of course, but you now have to get to know the person. If this is potentially someone you want to spend the rest of your life with or want to have something with, you know, because at the end of the day, you guys are gonna bring some type of value into a relationship. Otherwise, there's no point of it at all. Which is why I find, you know, usually in high school, you just fool around with the boy just for fun. Like you don't even know, you don't even think about bills, future, kids, none of that. But in terms of us being adults, like for God's sake, don't waste each other's time. And when I feel like someone's asking that question to me, right? And as she said, like it's not all women, but some women, like or someone like me, of course, I'm gonna introduce you to introduce what I do, what I bring, like what I naturally bring, what I'm taught, what values I have in my family, etc. Like, you know, and I just hope you're listening to me and expect those things and possibly even more, because sometimes things are not even tangible. There's the intangible, I guess. There's intangible things that I could bring to the table as well. But I've seen interviews and stuff, which is why I brought this question as well. I've seen interviews and stuff when women actually say what they bring to the table. Like, I also provide for myself. I'm a natural nurturer. I'll take care of you if I want to. I could actually clean for you. I could cook for you. And then you'll see men like retaliate, like, oh, I could learn that by myself. I could get love from my mom. So what else you can bring? The only thing you can bring is, excuse my language, the only thing you can bring is, excuse me.
I thought you said excuse me. What she say? Now.
No. I didn't know. I'm sorry. Excuse me.
I didn't hear nothing yet, and then I'm like,
No. You know, cause I ain't gonna lie, Chris is a sailor, so I don't know if language is a.
I'll edit it out.
Yeah, but the only
Watch the
but you know, the only thing you could bring is your
assets.
Your assets. That's it. And it's like, but I literally told you what I could bring to the table, and you know, like sometimes certain things you learn from family and friends, etc. It's not the same what you learn in a relationship. So that's my view on it. So with the question and stuff. So I like she said, I love the conversation because sometimes you see where people's perspectives on it. But at the same time, I hate the questions because it's usually something to. Not all men, but some men use it as a way to literally bring down a woman and say, you have no value, even though you do all of these things. Yeah, you do all of these things. Yeah, you could provide for yourself. But if I could do that for you and I could learn how to cook, if I could learn how to clean, then what do you bring? Like,
That's why I like asking, what do you want,
Oh,
so I know what to
Jimmy,
get.
Jimmy and I was on Clubhouse, and these men did the same thing, and I was like, date men, and they was like, oh, rich and chill, and I was like, respectfully, you're bashing women. Oh, relationships are for women. This is for women. This is for women. So I'm like, so if anything that is inherently good and prosperous is for women, and you're out here exercising your options, which is literally this man said he's cheating on women because they have no value. Sounds like your soulmate is a man. But I digress. We're not gonna get into that, right? But back topic at hand. I do feel like if anyone asks that question to you, Diamond, or you, Halima, they're blind and deaf and
stupid.
Richard. Whoa. That went from 0 to 1,000
I'm cutting it out
in a matter of 5 seconds.
If y'all want to see the behind the content,
I said, wow.
link to our Patreon. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, I'm kidding. I'm not kidding though. I'm being very honest.
Very
but
serious. Follow us.
yeah, so Jimmy's face is so disappointed. But yeah, back to
actually say that.
But yeah, so it's like they're blind and intentionally deaf. So it's like, however, I do feel like when talking about this topic, I feel like we need to address the connotations and the feasible options and the merit behind certain topics.
Exactly.
Because I feel like too often times a lot of women will subjugate a man asking this question when he isn't aware of the conversation. Because respectfully, if you are in the culture and in the mindset where, yo, I'm respectful, I'm inherently being genuine, you aren't going to assume that what you're saying can be misled if what you've experienced within that question is good, right? For example, I've seen people say like, yo, my dad told me, he asked his mom that, my mom asked my dad that, and in this culture, we ask him, yo, what do you bring, what value do you bring? My friendships, asking, well, what do you bring to me, what I bring to you, right? He was like, oh, transactional. Everything kind of is. Not saying that it doesn't mean it's currency. It means that it's love, empathy.
Yeah.
You know, that's the value, right? Things that have value. So I do want to make that explicit context, right? So specifically, right, when we address something, when we're the victim of, I guess, a derogatory claim or.
Sorry, my shoulder just cracked. I don't know.
And it was
hurt.
It was a pretty sharp snap.
It was mad loud. I'm good.
You sure?
I'm valid, bro. Don't worry.
I just make sure that you're.
Is your shoulder valid? Like, are your
Yeah, it was
bones
just
valid?
yesterday I went to the gym. I didn't stretch enough, so it's just like now it's just the effects. Like,
Stretch, guys.
Word.
so, yeah, I know. That's how I said. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Hey.
Don't worry about it, sweetheart.
But yeah,
It was
so
coming before it comes, and it's hilarious. I meant
Peanut
that for
butter.
what I said.
yes. So so it's like when being a victim of a misinterpreted thing, or even being a victim of something that rubbed you the wrong way. Reflect, yo. What's this person's intentions, right? Did they say it? Did they sit down at a restaurant and say, "So what do you bring to the table?" Before you ask your name? Because that's a red flag, in my opinion.
Very
Right?
much so.
However,
Don't do
once
it.
again, not me.
Don't do
If someone isn't like, yo, so like, tell me about yourself. Oh, what's your name? Da, 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 da. Okay, and they're listening and they're reciprocating and they're showing they listen to you. It's like, yo, I'm looking to date and like you seem very, very nice, but like I want to know like what do you bring and what to the table and like what do you see as the future between me and you? Right? And how they phrase that, be like, oh, you ain't da 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 da. You men da da da, and it's like, or you women da 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 da, and it's like, let's not subjugate someone to a phrase. Let's first address the context and truly say, okay, hey, honestly, that question rubs you the wrong way. Can you phrase it a different way? Because, and if you don't want to disclose why you phrase it the wrong way, or if you do, really up to you. But it's like, yo, rubs you the wrong way. I feel like you're saying this from my past. Come on, we all have Trump triggers in our past.
Yeah.
We all do. I know I got some.
Word.
So it's like
I'm still scared of mayo.
He actually is. Like if you was to sit down and on a date with him and you eat mayo, he will let you get up and leave.
Yeah.
I will.
But yeah, back topic.
I'll probably pay though.
Yeah, he would pay.
He would.
And then
Very
so
respectful.
it's like
Lose situation. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
so and
You're never talking to her again.
yeah. So be very aware of the person addressing it. And yeah, and be like, yo, that's not my thing. Can you ask another way?
Word. That's valid. And but
Yeah.
just real quick, because literally this question has literally remained undefeated. Because don't get me wrong, I understand the whole you understand this as you get to know someone, right? Many people talk about like, oh, friends. You don't ask a friend, any type like this type of like revealing question, right?
Personally, I do. Not this question specifically.
Yeah, but even then, like,
synonymous, yes.
Exactly. Even first type of relation. For example, you met Jose like 2 weeks ago. You didn't ask Jose, what do you bring to a table, Jose? Because one thing is, you didn't have to ask that because there's basically like no risk yet, right? And so I think that's like a big, difference that a lot of people don't consider is like, yeah, I understand that it's about learning the person over time. Which then always begs the question, though, how long are you willing to wait before you receive certain answers that you like basically wish to hear? Because technically, because if we're being honest, like I understand you two may have certain ways of disclosing information, but I actually doubt that most people in general are gonna say like on this first, second, or third date say like, these are my husband and wife level type of qualities that you can expect from me. Because to be honest, first 3 dates is still a little
and
especially when people are dating multiple people at the same time.
and this is why I say it's not about gender. It's more about the initiation and recipient.
Exactly.
Because literally, as I feel like Diamond and Halima, like y'all aren't like if something's going on, you're gonna be vocal about it.
Yeah.
So it's like strictly based on the commonalities, most people who are in weights are less inclined to communicate and initiate because they're receiving.
Exactly.
So it's like literally, once again, putting myself as initiator, right? For the men ask question, initiator. Once again, for those who have merit, for those who have moralities and not are doodle heads.
Right, because a lot of people will literally, and I also wanted to say real quick, because I just wanted to clarify that I did receive what you're saying, because it's crazy, because I heard the question before, like online, like typed out before I like saw it in play, and then I saw the entrapment that people just try to use, were just like, all right, bet, tell me your qualities, and then they'd be like, all right, well, that's doo doo. I'm just like
what?
and it's just like after a while, and the first time I was just like, all right, that's one doo doo head. I'm just like, okay, that's another doo doo head. I was like, wow, that's a lot of doo doo heads. Just like, all right, so it's like at this point, a lot of y'all just want to ask it just so you could say, haha, you suck anyway. Because at this point, it really did. It never mattered what the answer was.
And it's not the phrase that's the issue.
It's what they say.
It's the people using the phrase. It's like don't get me wrong. There's some words.
That was the point. Like,
It's like we got down.
You see how
to
you
like,
guys are using merely common sense to say like this question is flawed because of the way people respond to this question, or like when somebody answer it, it's like they call you stupid for that answer. Like, oh, you're still useless. Like,
yeah,
it's
more
annoying.
confused.
It's annoying, especially as a woman. Let me not say as a woman. More specifically, as a black woman. Like I've seen this in a lot of black spaces where like they would ask a black woman, oh, you have no value no more because this and that. Keep in mind, I feel like black women learned more about self-value over time, because there was a lot of times where we literally beat down when it comes to sexualism, colorism, featurism, and literally every little.
we learn about it so negative.
Yeah, we deal with like intersectionality so much like that we never learned how to value ourselves, and I feel like now, especially right now, it's 2022. I was about to say 2021. It's 2022 where we actually learn ourselves, and we are like, we deserve better. So if you ask me what I bring to the table, and I'm telling you, I now learn how to take care of myself. I don't really rely on people anymore. I'm still a nurturer if I feel like I'm being cared for, right? If my energy is being reciprocated. And you're literally sitting there and you're telling me, bro, you're still useless. Like, I'm gonna look at you, I'm gonna be offended.
And that's why, and then that's where we talked last episode about, doing a negative action for a negative thing in response. Personally, I'll respond negatively and beat the brakes of that person. But we're not gonna talk about that right now.
I cannot advocate for saying.
But yeah, so it's like, please, and I stress this to the men, please be very aware what you ask and how you ask. Could it just, like, I don't know, like the amount of ways I've been told, and this is why I get back to how the bare minimum is just so sad how it deteriorates over time. Oh, Richard, you're so nice. Because these men have literally degraded me on a constant basis. I was like, and it's like, I'm not be like, oh yeah, I'm nice.
Yeah, I'm a good guy.
I'm not. Like, I'm really not. Like, it is so sad how ubiquitous these stories are.
Word.
Right? And this is why I share my critiques on the phrase and not people behind it. I'm sorry, my distinct critique. Sorry, the distinction of critiques of the phrase and the people using it. Right? It's just sad, and I feel like personally, it will not change until men step up to the plate, and women, if someone has ill intentions, do not give them time of day.
Please.
Word time of day.
Please. Run.
Because I don't want to fight for. Let me phrase this the right way. I don't want to compete for value to show my value to you, and also compare it as you already subjugate me to a negative, right? I want to be seen as someone that's respectful and competent off basis. I feel like every human deserves that. That is inherently like that, right? Until it's proven otherwise. That's honestly how I navigate. Because I like,
proven guilty.
Yeah.
I have a question. Yeah, it was. Yeah,
But
it's okay.
I don't know about that. I'm not gonna do that right now. But yeah, so it's like specifically, be very cautious. When someone tells you there's a problem, be aware. Yo, why's this a problem? Don't be like, oh, you're being. Another thing too, if someone reacts to this is a big thing with connotations and being aware of the times. Don't call a black woman angry for responding to that question in a certain way.
Please.
Because
That triggered me with you just saying it.
Ooh.
So yes, please.
because
At
yeah,
all.
no.
Oh, don't tell me I'm doing too much. I will really be ready to flip the table right in front of normal table. Now you getting slapped up. That's it. I'm sorry.
Like now.
No violence.
Wait,
but yeah.
would you still flip the table that you brought stuff to?
You know what?
I'm taking my stuff and tying it.
You
on
gonna
the
tie it
side,
up, man?
and then I'll flip the
then we
table. Now
gonna
you got
tussle.
nothing, and then we'll tussle. That's
And then
it.
we tussle.
Just want to say,
Because I know how
I
you
don't advocate for overturning of tables.
But
Have
yeah,
intellectual
so
property around here.
and be very cautious. I just want to clarify, right? For me, I'm sorry. What's the question?
Oh, okay. And I specifically want to hear Halima's answer first. But this is just related back to the question, of course, because I feel like a better way to present that question without saying those words exactly is what are your intentions? Like the first day, the first conversation that you have with that person, obviously you should be getting to know that person, not admiring their assets, right? I'm talking to you. You felt that. I know.
both?
You can do both, but don't let her assets override her words, because that's literally going to tell you who she is.
If the goal is courting.
If the goal is courting,
Right.
yes. But it's like at the same time, regardless of your goal, right, you should ask their intentions, because it's not just about your intentions or what you're there for. Both parties play a role, because if they want what you want, then you can have what you want.
And we are creatures of habit, which entails that if you want something from a certain person, you should practice that on every single date, right? Okay, cool. You want to clarify?
Yeah. So I feel like you have to be very specific about your intentions and about your wants, but definitely when you're in conversation with that person, instead of asking that question, you can initially say, after getting to know them, of course, what are your intentions? That is a better question for the first conversation or first date.
I feel obligated to challenge that only because I don't think it technically answers the same thing. Because I can say, just notice how you kind of clarified how you distinguish between friends with benefits, girlfriend and wife.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that it would exactly answer. I don't even want to assume with most people. I don't think it would exactly get to the root of where someone's saying, what exactly will I receive? Because someone can still say, because remember how we was talking about our expectations, right?
Mm-hmm.
So someone can say husband, wife, or whatever, but there can still be a misunderstanding of what that would entail, right? Because like how we said, if there's no, if the expectations and the floor or the bare minimum that is kind of expect of woman has changed, right?
Mm-hmm.
You may think that because there are literally some people that be like, yo, what am I gonna get out of this? And they'll just be like, oh, coochie. It's just like, okay. And then someone else could say, I may cook and clean. Someone else can say, I'm gonna help you in your business. Someone can say I don't know, I'm a lawyer, so I'm gonna be a retainer for your business. I don't know. It can always be different. So just saying,
I'm cooperative. I'm really good with planning and helping you out. I'm emotional intelligence. I can help you with your
exactly.
with
Someone, because literally, actually, I don't think about it. Someone could say, I want to be a wife, but not necessarily say I want to procreate with you, right? Because that's also because some people just don't want kids.
People have different definitions of what they're perceiving things. So
Exactly.
So it's like saying about well, I want to be a girlfriend. What does that mean to you?
Exactly.
That's
That's
why I feel like it's important to ask what are your intentions, because that leads to the follow-up questions of getting to know somebody without saying, well, what do you bring to the table? Because
But
obviously,
to be fair though,
what?
And it goes back to Jimmy's point of Jimmy made a very distinct point. When you're initiated, right? Let's everyone here. All right. What we got? All right.
Yes.
Let us all envision we are the initiator. Okay. Okay. Cool. Cool. All right. when you initiate it, right? Let's say I meet this woman.
This is the woman.
I'm a man, so I'm gonna go, and I'm here. I like women, so I'm gonna
You
go.
are the man.
So I'm like, boom. I meet this woman. She's fire.
She is fire.
But she likes
fire.
Gorgeous.
But she don't talk. She says she don't talk to no one. I can't even, it's hard to talk to her. I gotta like be in the city. I gotta shoot my shot. Another woman. She's fire-ish, right? Like you know, like she looks good, but not as good in my opinion as
As girl
woman-
number one, okay.
as girl number one.
Interesting.
However, she's showing me interest. She's like, yo, Rich, you know, like, yo, let's go out, let's hang out, you know, I'm trying to see you, you know. It's like, and it's like, okay. So it's like, and there's like another girl, right, who's also fire, but like, she's mad busy. Like she'll give me time of day, but she's busy. So like, it'll be like, if anything, it'll be like a long distance kind of thing. So I'm like, what do I do? Right? The girls give me interest. I like her, but it's like, there's people in my vicinity that I just don't know. And like, I don't want to write them off because like, I don't say that they're bad people, but like, what if I'm more compatible with them? Not saying one is better than the other, but what if I'm more compatible with this person, right? This one right here, who I know, who I'm more familiar with, I don't know. Maybe I could try, maybe I don't. But it's like, this girl, last time I saw her, she was into anime, the same anime I watch, and she knew it. This is one anime that no one else watched. I was like, yo, you know.
That's lit.
So I wanted to learn more about her. Other girl, we clicked, but she's never here. So it's like, you're perfect, but it's like, if I can't see you, I can be with you.
Where she was on business trips.
So now, right? I'm like, yo, I'm initiator. Can we go on a date? They offer yes to me.
Yeah.
Right, so I got
Got
planned
the
date.
sauce.
They're all attractive, like hands down, no doubt. So I'm like, yo, I gotta stand out. I'm not gonna waste your time and be like, oh, I want to marry you. I'm like, yo, I need to get to know them. But I also want to show that I'm attracted to them and show that they are attractive and show that they're beautiful and they have another place that I want to and value that. So I'm gonna plan a date. That's fun, independent upon what they like. This girl likes go-karting. This girl likes museums. This girl likes chilling at home and watching movies, right? Plan a date, cook time, plan it, all this stuff, right? Now I'm like, okay, I plan this for 1 week, another week. Resources, time, planning, taking off of work, right? I make sure that they're free, so they have a priority. So now I gotta compensate for me. I gotta take off of work. I gotta put money aside. I gotta stand out. I gotta put on a nice fit. I'm not wearing
good
no
fits
bums,
always.
You know what I'm saying?
Gotta do the hair routine.
The hair routine, bro. You don't understand? If I have a link,
5 hours.
I have to plan my hair 2 days before when I'm free and not lazy. Okay.
Free and not lazy.
So I promised I mentioned, okay, I got a date on Friday. I have to do my hair Wednesday, so it dries on Thursday. I can take it out by Friday and just be saucy. But then again, I'm like, yo, my mom, I ain't help my mom, I gotta do other stuff, I got responsibilities. I got obligations, I gotta feed them too. But I'm initiator. That don't stop me. I don't fold under pressure. I gotta keep pushing. Right? Not saying I'm a toxic masculine, but I'm just like, I gotta push it. So it's like, boom. But I'm like, I don't waste anyone's time, so I gotta know now. What value did it bring to me? I gotta know now. I can't waste no time. I already did all this to resources, and I also don't want to waste their time, right? If I'm showing that, yo, I'm showing I'm X, Y, and Z, you're not gonna learn this off. You're not gonna learn it on the first date. You have to ask the question. You just have to.
But
Not saying you gotta ask this question specifically, but I'm be like, hey, you know, da 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 da. Once again, assuming I'm the initiator.
Yeah.
Not saying I do this. But you know, but specifically, what I like to ask is, what do you care about? How you show you care. That's what I ask every time. First encounter, what do you care about? How you show you care. So then I get to the mindset. Okay, boom. This person cares about the family. They show they care by catering to them, taking them out, doing events, doing this, doing that, right? Talking to them. You know, their acts of service. All right, another person show they care. They show these things how they care, but quality time is the thing. They show they care about words, affirmation, and act service. But I'm a quality time kind of guy. So if I know they show they care about this, that's kind of like a not a red flag, a not compatibility factor. We don't connect here. We don't mesh here. But then I'll ask, do you care about me? They say yes or no. They be like, I don't know you too well.
Wait, you gonna ask
You
them
said on the first
they care
date?
about you?
And I'm saying like, going further. I'm
I
saying
was
like,
about to say.
Oh, so
what's that?
how much further though? 'Cause
How much
that matters.
further? Yeah.
Because that kind of goes to my question, because that's
and
how I was
that
asking.
depends.
True,
Right? But
true.
that's just me though. But
okay.
but yeah, so like
It's interesting.
I still have to
Like-
ask you a question after this, but continue.
But yeah, so it's like boom. So that's another thing. But back to the initiator thing. That was just me a little bit simply about me, what I would ask. But back to the thing. Once again, not saying I date multiple people at one time. And
Just go. Give me your head. Thanks.
not saying I don't either. Just clarify. But yeah, so
Interesting.
So I'm gonna ask, what do you bring to the table? Because
I don't really like that 9 times out of 10 when this question is
well,
explained.
let me ask. I'm sorry. So sorry.
It's okay. I just don't like that when this question is explained, it's like backed up with, well, I don't want to waste my time. And it's like if you then took the time to get to know this person, why do you consider getting to know them a waste of time? But anyway, I'm going to go back to my question.
Wait, let me respond to that.
Okay.
Because if we aren't compatible, for example, I can find out, arguably, which is pretty fair, more than more than 50% chance, so I'm saying most of the time, by asking a certain question, we aren't compatible, as opposed to going on 5 dates, 10 dates,
Right.
to find out that we aren't compatible.
Right.
And I'd rather find out
And
sooner
I'd
rather than
rather
later.
find out sooner rather than later.
I mean, I was gonna be specific about the love language thing because I feel like, everybody have a love language, but there's all the love language connect in a way, which is why I feel like, I know that was like, it's not like it's in general, but like I feel like in terms of love language, like I wouldn't ask someone, like I would ask them about their love language, but if their love language is not compatible to mine, I wouldn't consider that a deal breaker because it's something you can compromise in the future. If that makes sense.
Which is why.
I would not bring that up as a deal breaker. I mean, that's me personally.
Right.
No, but like, I'm saying a deal breaker, but like just I'm not.
Yeah, it's something to consider.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
none of that. No, that's just me.
Yeah.
But I'll take more time. Me personally, it depends. Cause like, I ask other questions. I'm not going to
Thank you for sparing us.
no, not those kind of questions. Not those kind of questions.
Yeah.
What do you mean by those, Richard?
If you're sparing us, you mean inappropriate kind of questions, James?
Nah, just question. I don't know what you're
I
talking
don't
about.
like when people ask those on the first date too. It's like, you know, if I like you like that. But go ahead.
I mean, it depends.
I can only
That's how
have
you
to trust
know.
you back.
Because especially,
Right.
some people, listen, here's the thing. When you ask certain questions, be aware. Some people may be with the energy. Other people may not be with it.
That's
I mean,
why
honestly, so it's like,
good
if
to
you don't like
observe.
it, that's
Yeah,
fine.
I was gonna bring
Now
that
I
up
know.
next, yeah.
You don't like it. On to the next. Like, so, but.
So, yeah, I'm just
But yeah,
just
ask
saying
the question.
overall, like, yeah, just be like, just observe the situation, observe the person.
Be mindful.
Yes, be mindful, especially when you're asking certain questions. Like, you have to make sure that it's the right time to ask those questions because it might not be just based on how that person is receiving you. But if you're not present, right, to how they're reacting to certain things, it's like it could just cause a bunch of mess. But yes.
Yeah. Oh no, I'll just
remember
agree.
she had a-
I'll just agree.
It was a
I remember
question.
you had a question. So
The
what's
question was, darn. Okay, no, I got it. I wanted to. You kind of answered it in a way. I do wanna hear like how you would ask it because it's like yes, it's a question that's asked. It's just asked in certain ways, obviously, or it's worded around it. But how would you then go about asking that question, but not saying those words?
like what the bring to the table question? I mean, me personally, I always ask multiple questions that let me know whether or not we're gonna work. Like, for instance, like when it comes to, I'll sometimes I'll sit down and be very straightforward with the question. Like, for instance, like career-wise, like, oh, like let's say we're getting to know each other. And, you know, of course, I want to know what are you currently doing, how you're going about life, where do you see yourself in the future? Of course, I'm gonna ask like, what do you see yourself within? I don't like the question in the next 5 years, but what do you see yourself doing in the future, basically? And if you have something that I know you're gonna be able to work for it, and I actually, I'll ask that question, you tell me, and then actually, like, let's say if I am actually having interest in you and we continue on talking, like, you know, basically gets to that stage of actually getting to know each other more and getting closer, I'll actually see and observe whether or not you're actually moving forward to get to that. Like, I'm an observer as well as I ask questions, and I actually see if you're taking actions with those questions, like you're actually putting it into play, and that's one way. I lost my train of thought. Another way, like, I also ask, like, basically I'm very straightforward, and I ask that, and I also bring up scenarios. Like, for instance, I remember there was one time I was talking to a dude, and I asked like a scenario, like, especially being African, like, there's no privacy. I'm like, okay, so let's say if there's this, they would ask, a lot of people ask this situation, like, oh, would you mind living with your mother-in-law? I tell them straight up, I personally do not want to live with my mother-in-law, and it also depends on why I'm living with my mother-in-law, right? And then if I also observe that, and then they'll be like, well, why wouldn't you want to live with your mother-in-law if I'm taking care of you and I had to take care of my mom? I'm like, it just depends. So there's just different questions I would ask, and it also depends on why am I asking? It also depends on the conversation we're having and when you're asking that. If you're asking me in the beginning, I'm be like, why you want to know all of that? I don't know you that well to answer that question. But if we're getting forward more,
like
getting to know each other, I'm more comfortable with you, then I'll answer that question, or I'll ask you a question straightforward, because if I see a future with you, of course I'm gonna need to know, because I don't like surprises. I don't like anything that will actually catch me off guard. Or
It was the accent. I love
because a lot of men are surprised. Like, a lot of men will say something, and then next thing you know, they will catch you off guard with something you thought they would never do. Like, you would trust their word, and then they'll flip it. Like, it'll literally flip it. I'll bring it up, and I'll literally say, didn't you say you would not do that? You're like, yeah, but things happen. But I literally told you I do not like that, and you're like, no, but things happen. You have to accept it or not.
Like, no, that's a conversation.
No, that's a conversation we had.
I'd like to reassure y'all, y'all ain't not gonna catch me eating a sandwich with mayo. I'm gonna stand on that. That's for sure.
He said,
that's for
so
sure.
it's just, I don't ask that specific question. Like, so just to sum it up, I don't ask that specific questions, but I ask questions that basically imply, like, what value do you bring to me that will reassure me that I am in good hands? Especially being Muslim, like, we don't believe in dating, we believe in courting, so I get to meet you a few times, and if I feel like you're worth of someone that brings back value to me, especially for the rest of my life, to my kids, to my family in general, of course I'm gonna have to ask important questions and give you scenarios to make sure that, and reassure me and reassure my future and everything else, that I am in good hands, and especially my father and my mom, to know that I'm in good hands as well before I even bring you up to them. So yeah.
I bet. Yeah.
I just want to add a slight tweak to my
Yeah. I was just I saw after. And then
honestly, me personally,
Ladies. Continue. They're listening.
Yeah, what happened?
Come on now.
I don't really struggle with, like, getting to no, like, is there, like, I feel like just because, like, I guess the way I am personally in the space I meet people, because like my thing is that I don't even like really like find anyone date worthy until like I know something about them, so like something that we get that connected. So it's like boom, so like I meet a woman at like a community event. Fire, she likes Black Lives too, right? And I'm like, instant quality, right? Oh, she's a scholar and joins a program, you know, before she wants to, you know, help
We
her
like
life.
scholars.
And, you know, it's, you know, has ambitions. Fire. So it's like the premises are already like compatible from the jump. So it's like I don't really go out looking for strangers and be like, okay, I feel like that warrants more.
I was about to ask you this, would you join Tinder or something like that?
No.
Yeah.
Respectfully, I feel like Tinder, you need Tinder if you got no juice. But no shade.
So he admits that he has juice.
I don't know about that. I say that.
It's not juice. It's sauce. It's sauce. Cause like how long juice don't last long in your fridge.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
Sauce?
That's going to the day. Sauce.
Black people have
Yo, that's
But yeah, but like honestly, like from a perspective, what I would ask is like, yo, and just hypothetical, like if you go on a second date or like more dates, and you're my girlfriend, what would you like? How would you
Give me a birthday on my birthday gift.
Well, I'd like, yo, what gift would you get me? How would you, reciprocate the love and energy that I'm definitely going to give to you? And I would word like that.
I don't know why, but what prompted that was like there was some like viral video where like there was a girl that said like she's not gonna get her man a birthday gift.
Yo, I seen that.
And I was just like,
I said, you are a fool. You are a fool. I was like, nah, I'm sorry.
and it's like don't like, and I remember the guy like was like very harsh in his reply, and I was just like, yeah, that was a bit far, because like I said, I don't want to match him out with that.
Your week's coming off. Your mom's dead.
Oh, yo, that was a whole different. That
was a whole
wild.
Yo, but you learn how to.
But anyway, but like, yeah, and it was just like, high key, like, yo, I'm sorry, but like, high key, I don't know. I'd hate to have a wife and I have no gift on my birthday, nothing, just a what's up,
birthday.
or assets.
Yo, not even imagine
Getting that for
it's not even happy birthday, just a it is your birthday. Imagine that on your birthday, your significant other. Yeah. Good morning. It is your birthday. I'd be tight, but high key, I kind of want to close this off with two questions, but one of them being rhetorical, right? Because I'm not sure if I really stated the undefeated question. Oh, you want to say something quick?
I want them to respond to this.
Oh, yeah, my bad.
Wait, repeat it one more time. I spaced out a little.
Word, my bad.
I kind of forgot it, but what I would ask hypothetically in the position, right? Because I don't really mind time, but right? Hypothetically, if you feeling the vibe, and you and my girlfriend in the future, how would you reciprocate the energy that I'm definitely going to give to you? And see how they answer that.
Oh, that was a question? I didn't know.
Yeah, that was a
That was a
statement.
No. I'm pretty sure they heard me, so it's like, it's like.
Okay.
That's it.
Is
that a fair synonymous statement to what you bring to the table?
Aside.
I don't know. I don't know how to word these things. Personally, I don't mind time, so like I don't really have an issue. I don't use the quote. I don't use the statement, nor do I.
Yeah.
Not like I do understand.
Not my issue.
Not my issue personally.
I just want to. I'm sorry. Before you answer, I just want to clarify. So basically, like, what do you bring like to your time? Like, I just want to make sure.
Yeah. So like basically, it's like if for people who want to know this question, I do want to provide an alternative because I do think it's valid, right? Like.
Yeah.
For people who are initiating, who are looking to date in court for genuine intentions, how do they evaluate that in the minimum amount of time, right? Because I do feel like a lot of people say, well, get to know time. It's like, respectfully,
not a lot of people like time.
If you're the one in wait, you're not having any risk. Like, people understand, like, from a risk perspective and to mitigate risk, if you want to shoot your shot, you're trying to be like, yo, how can I shoot my shot and make sure I'm not risking anything?
Or you just have to make sure, like, you have to have like some type of vetting process to know whether it's going to be worth doing anything that you're doing, right? No one wants the effort to be for nothing.
Exactly, and honestly, like, even if someone lies, even then, you can hold them to that standard. So it's like,
hold them accountable.
This is what they said. You said you do X, Y, Z for me. You're not doing this. After I said I'm doing X, Y, Z for you. Like, if you're making it seem like, yo, like, your love language is, I don't know. You want me to make sure that your water's in the freezer, so when you leave work, your water's in the freezer, so when you leave for work in the morning, you got ice cold water in work.
That's so nice.
I'm doing all that every day, and I'm asking you to make sure that there's paper towel in the cabinet, just at least one roll.
At least one roll.
And you can do that, So it's like,
I mean, I feel like it's a good question. It's a good question. It really just depends on, again, like when you ask it, filling out the energy, observing how they're receiving everything that you're saying, and the intentions of
Because for the audience specifically, for people who do use this phrase, I don't want to tell them, hey, this is bad, and then be like, well, figure out the option. Because like if y'all both saying that as a woman, it feels bad for me.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, as initiator,
What
I'm
should
pretty
be
sure
asked.
it feels bad to get strung along to find out that you're not compatible with someone. Not to say they're bad, just not compatible.
Yeah.
So what is the right way to vet?
I don't know. I think for me personally, it's just one observation. Like she's like it always goes back to observation. One, like knowing body language or see how they react to certain questions, and two, asking questions that basically can circle around that. Because there's simple question of like conversational questions. I don't even know the correct word, but questions that basically can create a conversation so you can see their point of view on certain things, and that can lead back to, okay, is she actually like, because the whole point of the table thing is value. Like I feel like it's a symbol for value. Like, do you have value for me? So I think personally for me, it's like if you ask me questions, or if I'm asking you questions that relate to the values and stuff like that, I think that overall sums up, oh, do she bring the full course meal that I need, like, to my table? Because like you have the appetizers, the entrees, everything, you know, and
Dessert.
and the dessert, like, you know,
And then second dessert, because I like eating.
But yeah.
You mean eating food.
Me too. But yeah, like, you know, you literally have the little bits and pieces that basically sums up the question that you have, and whether or not you will be satisfied. So I just feel like
So what questions? Because like I understand the sentiment,
Like-
but I do feel like it is very hard for people who just don't know. Because like if they can't even understand an individual based on the ambiguities and the signs that they're quote unquote given or not given, how could then even formulate based off of that? If that makes sense.
yeah.
So like
No,
if you don't know the answers, cool. But like that's what I want to come as a whole before we close.
Yeah.
What is the right way? Because I really don't like people to be like, oh, this makes you feel bad. So how do I figure it out?
Yeah. No, personally, I really think it just goes back to intention and observation. If you know your intentions for a person and you guys have similar intentions towards each other, then you then know the right questions to ask, especially if you're observing them after you've based it off of intention. Okay, me and this person want to be friends with benefits, you know, like we've agreed on that. That's what we're looking for. Then as you continue to observe this person, you know, based off the questions that you're asking, so on and so forth, or just how the conversation flows, I feel like you'll know in a sense. I'm not saying you have to just figure it out, but 9 times out of 10, when a person is like actually, if they're genuinely getting to know you the way you're genuinely getting to know them, it's like they kind of tell on themselves. Like they're gonna tell you who they are and what they're.
But to be
willing
honest,
to do.
I just make a distinction. Us, when we date, most more likely than not, it's proximity, right? So it's like we meet people who's in the vicinity of us, which is why we date them, because like we already know some form of connection.
Right.
Yeah.
People who date, who have the intention, yo, I want to date, not friends with benefits. Strictly based, the intention. Just want to clarify. The premise is they want to date to marry. They want to date to be monogamous. They want to date to be serious. How do they do that with literal strangers?
With what? Repeat that.
With strangers. Because and that's very just because like I feel like once again, I'm sorry, you just can't rely on observation as the premise.
Especially when you see people straight up lying and using, which is sadly one of the other reasons why this question is become more popular, right? Because also how you mentioned like a lot of people don't know what to do, so they just cling on to what they've seen, and so what happens is like they'll see a lot of guys out here getting played, which is sad to see, but it be happening. They be getting used for meals. Like, I've known many different women who literally have people in context as breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Like literally,
Like
even.
And that's sad. Couldn't be me though, but that's sad.
But yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna get back into it real quick and just pretty much just kind of wrap it up. We just kind of want to end it with a certain question and understanding. So basically, based on how we was just talking with each other, sharing each other experiences, and understanding one another, could we be on the understanding, common ground, which is basically what we try to establish here, that it's not exactly entirely just on the question itself, but rather the typical follow up, which then kind of puts you almost puts you defensive because you can see the pattern where it's just like, oh, well, I see that you're probably going to use this, as many people in the past have done, to try to devalue or berate me and stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree. Like, once again, the question itself is not bad. It's how you use it, and in what way you use it. When do you use it? If you're using it in the heat of an argument with someone of the opposite gender or someone that you're, then you'll be like, but what do you bring to the table for me? And then when she or he tells you, and you're like, but that's nothing. You're literally using it out of spite. But when you use it, when you're trying to genuinely get to know somebody and know them for who they are and what they might bring to you, what value they bring to you, and what it might bring in the future, then it's a good question. Some people may not be able to bring it in words, but when you see in actions, it goes like, some people have their ways to bring it up to you and show you or tell you how they bring it to the table. That's when it becomes a good question, and it becomes something that's very valuable and something I would like, I would like to have, or anybody else per se. So yeah.
All right. I couldn't have said it any better.
You concur?
Yeah.
I concur. You concur?
Yeah,
Concur.
And it goes back, like last week. I love this recurring theme, and it's like where it's like, even when you said when you build your friendship and like being very intentional, and it's like coming from a place of empathy.
Yeah.
Always operate out of empathy.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Then once again, we're not gonna always do it because people do have, but like their flaws and like especially when derogatory and out of whack things happen to you.
Like
we totally understand that.
stuff,
But make that a goal, like forever.
Can I mention one thing also?
You're gonna ask me. I'm not no.
I just want to say, like, being that this question about what do you bring to the table has brought about a lot of negative responses. Let's also, me and James actually were discussing this yesterday. Let's also change how we respond to this question instead of just reacting. Now that we have like an understanding more from this conversation, not just women, men also, because everybody, kind of asks it right now and has their feelings about it. So let's just change how we respond to it. Like, find a better way. If you know that you are triggered by the question, allow that person to understand in a way. Like, you can also ask them, what are your intentions behind this question? Because that is kind of going to let them know, okay, this might be a trigger. Or you can also let them know that this is a trigger question for me. So in what ways do you mean this? Or in what way are you trying to use it, And we can go about it in a more healthy and positive way.
That's good. Like, just making sure, like, I think so. Like, something like we say, like, prioritizing, like, understanding instead of demonizing. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Facts. I don't see it. Man, I am so thankful that I have this space and I'm able to make friends who can just goals, understand and be empathy. Basic empathy.
Yeah.
I just love that. Thanks for pulling to the club.
Word. Thank you, Halima, for being here.
Yes,
Thank you,
guys.
Halima.
This is nice.
A great convo. I'm so glad when this conversation is done, people will make sense.
I had a follow-up question I forgot to mention. I'm sorry.
Yeah, sure.
So, I feel like this question also relates to a 50-50 question. The 50-50 question. So, a lot of people ask about bringing what you bring to the table. Now, that's the question as to, like, does this thing relate to 50-50? And how does 50-50 impact, people as well? Because we could reach a common ground when it comes to bringing it to the table. Is there a common ground when it comes to 50-50 if that's the case?
That's fire, bro. That's fire. Yo, actually, my response is not. Truthfully, I think you'll find out next episode of Club Noir. So,
Gotcha.
I'm gonna like, comment, subscribe. If you
let us know
hear
what y'all
this
thought.
on something else,
Yes.
Let us know your thoughts.
Facts.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, yo, you wanna talk about this? We going live. We could, open up the chat room. Like, yo, let us know. And yeah, thanks for joining the club.
Oh yeah, also subscribe to my YouTube channel, Sadi TV. Yeah.
Word.
Links in it will be in the description.
Bio, whatever we got.
Everything.
Big ups Halima,
Yes.
really that like I almost said near like dead Dead donkey.
I'm not sure if Peter's gonna like that one.
But yeah. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank you, Halima. And
We out.
Success.